Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for refusing to share my dinner with 2 children? My F29 boyfriend Albert, M35, and I had a great relationship until his family moved closer to us. I haven't seen a more toxic or entangled family connection. It seems like every ex and their mother is an enemy, every ex-boss had it out for them, every friend should help out more and more, everyone should take their verbal abuse. After a few run-ins, I cut MIL off. His sister, F37, is in the habit of showing up at dinner time. She has 2 kids, 7F, 9M, that she always brings along. I didn't mind sharing a meal, but I hated her dropping by without a warning. Albert never took action, and this created problems. SIL has an unbearable parenting style. They are good kids, but she overindulges them and lets too many things slide as they are just kids. So they interject in adult conversations, have crying fits when told no, and are prone to grabbing / touching / taking objects without permission. So they took things around the house, cupboard items, small sculptures, my stash of hotel toiletries, my hair extensions, to play with and had me going crazy trying to find them later. Fast forward and her son, who has anxiety, had a small crisis from opening our kitchen drawer and grabbing some poppets / party snaps. Some fell and popped real loud and he cried because he was embarrassed. I did not offer comfort because that would be indulging his snoopy behavior. So I stayed quiet and asked Albert to talk to his sister, which I'm sure he didn't. I'm not happy in my relationship. I don't have privacy. His sister keeps showing up despite being told, by myself, that she can't keep showing up uninvited. I'm sick of having to hide things that I think her kids could get their hands on. I recently put a lock on my home office door because I suspect that SIL has been using my copy machine while I'm out. I work both at home and at 2 client sites and have been getting home after 8 p.m. I'm sick of being tense and dreading her visits because he lets her eat through our groceries like she has a right to do it. He has called me selfish and greedy. I thought he would be more considerate now that they gave him less hours at work and his pay cut has caused me to pay for most of our bills. SIL is a nail technician and a hairstylist. She was also a teacher at a beauty academy until she had her kids. Now she won't do anything but badmouth her ex and complain about how hard life is. She has a place to live, with access to food and her own car. I'm thinking that she may be doing this on purpose. Last Friday, Albert went bowling with friends. I told him that I wanted a very quiet evening and didn't want to be bothered. I got home at around 7 p.m. and sat down to eat my seafood boil. SIL showed up, asking for her daughter's backpack that she left behind. I was annoyed. I tried to rush to get it, but her son saw the crab legs and started insisting. I said I was sorry, but that's my dinner. So he starts crying, stomping, and repeatedly asking his mom for my food. I said I was sorry and quickly showed them out. To my aggravation, they didn't leave immediately. He cried outside for about 5 minutes while SIL sat inside her car trying to convince him to get in. I pulled down the shutters and tried to ignore them. When Albert got back, his face had a bitter expression. He said that he was extremely disgusted about the way that I treated his family. He has stopped talking to me. It's been a few days and I'm still getting the silent treatment. I've cried a few times, especially because he's been texting me despite us being physically next to each other. SIL showed up yesterday, but he wasn't home yet, so I didn't let her in. I'm angry and defeated, and I'm coming to the conclusion that I need to end the relationship because he texted me that I need to apologize to SIL. I didn't want things to end between us, but I feel like they are trying to walk all over me. This is so surreal. We had planned on a cozy Christmas together months ago when things were good. I'm not trying to ruin his life. Right now, His finances are not great and my salary makes a huge difference. I just don't want to be made to feel like his family can get away with what they're doing, and I hold resentment. I texted him about how I feel and how incredibly selfish he is to be comfortable giving to his sister with what my hard work can buy but can't think to respect my boundaries. Am I the bad person if I leave? I feel like somehow I'm the failure for not being willing to fight for our relationship. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Am I the bad person for not inviting my father because he disowned me after knowing that I wasn't his biological child? So let's get into it, I guess. Almost a decade ago, my dad found out that my mom cheated on him with another guy years ago through my mother's sister. Back then, my mom and aunt weren't in good terms, so she told Dad everything. My parents fought over this, and Dad filed for divorce. We all got DNA tested, and out of 3 children, I was the only one who wasn't his. It felt so bad to know that your dad, who raised you for almost 16 years, wasn't really your dad. That didn't feel as bad as him kicking me out of his house when I was begging him not to. I wished I could just kill myself when he disowned me. My mom went into a depressive state and would just spend all day in bed and would just get out to use the toilet. My grandparents lived in a different state, but they did everything they could to make our lives better. I needed to come home from school, do all the chores in the house, and tend to my mom and check on her. I did everything that could possibly be done to make sure we lived. I would ask my mom who my real dad was, but all I got was screaming or a hit. My siblings and grandparents from Dad's side tried to make things right between me and Dad, but he wouldn't budge. Apparently, I was just a reminder that Mom cheated on him and nothing else. I remember my 17th birthday when no one remembered that it was my birthday. I cried to the point where I didn't have any tears left. Even when I graduated from high school, only my grandmother came. Why didn't my feelings matter to anyone? Why was I supposed to endure this? After I returned from my graduation, I told Mom that I was leaving if she doesn't tell me who my real dad is, and this time she did tell me who he was. I met him. After finding where he lived, I discovered that I have a half-brother and that my real father was a widower and a doctor. He didn't know that I existed or the fact that Mom was married. It took us time, but we built a bond, and he helped to get through college, and he walked me down the aisle. He even got Mom some help, and I am forever grateful to him. Well, present time me, I, 26F, was married to my lovely fiancée last week, and I didn't invite my ex-dad to my wedding. He tried to contact me before the wedding, but I don't want anything to do with him. My siblings and grandparents from ex-dad's side say I am wrong and that he wanted to come and make things right, but I don't want to make things right. He had the right to abandon me, so I have a right to do the same. He isn't my father. He was once upon a time, but not now. I understand that he was hurt, but I was hurt too. Everyone tells me to let go of the grudge, but I just don't want him in my life, and no, I won't give him another chance. My husband understands, but no one else seems to understand what I had to go through to get to where I am now. He cannot just come to my life 9.5 fucking years later and expect things to be all right. Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Am I the bad person for snapping at my parents and kicking them out after they tried to force me to rehome my autistic son's therapy dog? So, here's the deal. I, 35M, have a 10-year-old son, Ethan, who's on the autism spectrum. He's a bright kid but struggles with severe anxiety, especially around new people or changes in routine. About a year ago, we got him a therapy dog, Max, a golden retriever. Max has been a godsend. Since Ethan bonded with him, his meltdowns have significantly decreased, and he's become more independent. Honestly, Max has been a lifeline for Ethan and our family. Now, the backstory: my parents, 62M and 60F, are difficult. Growing up, they were very much the tough love kind of parents, never really understanding mental health or special needs. They've always been critical of how we parent Ethan, saying we coddle him too much. I've had to set boundaries with them multiple times, but they've never fully respected them. A few months ago, my parents ran into some health issues and decided to downsize their home. They asked if they could move in with us for a while until they figured out their next step. After much hesitation, we agreed to let them stay, but we laid out ground rules, especially when it came to Ethan. I was very clear that our routine, especially involving Max, was non-negotiable. At first, everything was okay. My parents kept their distance when Ethan needed space and tried to be understanding, but I could tell they weren't thrilled with Max being in the house. My dad's not much of a dog person, and my mom kept making snide remarks about hygiene and how it's just an animal. Then came the incident. Last week, I came home from running errands to find Ethan in a full-blown meltdown. He was inconsolable, crying and shaking, and Max was nowhere to be found. I immediately asked my parents what happened, and my mom, completely calm, said that she'd rehomed Max while I was out because she felt the dog was enabling Ethan's anxiety rather than helping it. She didn't even ask me. She just took it upon herself to contact some friend of a friend who needed a dog and gave Max away. I had lost it. I screamed at them both. I asked them what in the world they were thinking, and they said they were trying to help Ethan by cutting the cord and helping him be more independent. My dad chimed in, saying, "You can't let him depend on a dog forever." As if Ethan's progress was something to just be discarded because they didn't like it. I was absolutely livid. I told them they had no right to make decisions about Ethan's therapy or what's best for him. I didn't even give them a chance to argue back. I.e. Ethan, but I don't buy it. They disrespected my family, my son, and everything we've worked so hard for just because they don't understand him. Am I the bad person for throwing them out after they took Max away without asking? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.